A rare black rhino was born last month at a zoo in Des Moines, Iowa. Critically endangered, there are fewer than 1,000 black rhinos left in the world. Now, black market demand for rhino horn, well, that's largely behind this problem.
Sven, the Minnesota Zoo, Sven is here. The Minnesota Zoo is playing a direct role in conservation efforts.
That's right. The zoo has partnered with Save the Rhino Trust, and I was fortunate enough to travel to Namibia to see their work firsthand.
It's about as far away from Minnesota as you can get. Namibia is located in southwest Africa, home to the Namib Desert, with few signs of life.
While this is an incredibly harsh environment, many of Africa's big animals have found a way to adapt to this very dry place. From the spotted hyena, a special species of zebra, giraffes, a desert elephant, and of course, the infamous desert rhino.
Namibia is home to over a third of the world's black rhinos, but the species is threatened.
The main Udiap River channel.
That's where Minnesota native Jeff Montefiore comes in.
Formal conservation here really only started in the early 80s.
Jeff is employed by the Minnesota Zoo, but works with Save the Rhino Trust in Namibia. It's a group working to save the black rhino from extinction.
The trust's formation was sort of, I guess, driven by this huge increase in the poaching.
According to the Rhino Trust, poaching has increased steadily because of poachers using the rhino horns as a status symbol to display success and wealth. A rhino's horn by weight is said to be more valuable than gold.
About 97% of the global population of black rhinos were wiped out over about a 30-year period between 1950 and 1980.
The key to fighting poaching is a careful balance between local needs and conservation through tourism.
We said we want the communities to benefit from rhino tracking tourism.
Wilderness Safari's Desert Rhino Camp caters to tourists, bringing in money for the local economy. The camp offers tours led by Rhino Trust trackers.
These guys have been trained. They can handle monitoring the rhinos. The only exception is how to work with tourists. And that's where we are now, where we train the guys to also take tourists out.
The tours start early in the day. On my first day with the trackers, we spotted a rhino within a few hours.
We're at one of their viewpoints as part of their patrol, and they spotted the rhino just on the opposite slope, and he was moving, probably feeding in the bushes, and now he's moved a bit further off that small valley.
This rhino is familiar to trackers. They call him Don't Worry. He's one of the most approachable rhinos in the desert.
We have to whisper so that the rhino doesn't hear us. The trackers specifically put us downwind of the rhino so that they can't get a scent of us. They don't have very good vision, but they can hear well and they smell well. So we're in a good spot here on this little bit of a hill with the wind coming from the rhino at us.
Rhinos tend to be solitary animals with large territories. In this part of Namibia, the rhinos are free roaming, unlike parks and game preserves in the rest of Africa, where rhinos are fenced in. On my second day of tracking, we set out to find more rhinos, looking at footprints and even dung for clues. We found one taking a break under a tree.
It's a male. They said he's very young.
It took a few minutes before this rhino took off running. A 2,000-pound rhino can run up to 35 miles an hour. Jeff says there is still a lot more work to do to save the black rhino.
We still need to reduce and minimize the poaching.
But his efforts and those of the Minnesota Zoo are helping to save an African treasure.
The best thing people can do if they want to help is actually come out here and see a rhino and be a part of a community rhino tracking experience.
Wow. What can people do to help?
You know, if you want to donate to Save the Rhino Trust directly, you can do that through the Minnesota Zoo on their website. I've linked to that, and I've got a long blog post, trying to summarize all this into 3.5 minutes. Pretty difficult, but I kind of go day by day and much more background information on the country of Namibia, their conservation efforts, and just the poaching battle in general through Africa.
Incredible experience. Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Great, yeah.
Pleasure
Nice
to do so.
piece.
Hopefully
All
we
right.
can save the rhinos.